Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys the evolution of my music taste. So growing up in my early childhood years, I mostly listened to what my parents were listening to, and that was mostly bands like Green Day and Queen and Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and those kinds of bands. And my parents grew up with that kind of music, so when they had me, I kind of grew up with that kind of music because they played that around me a lot. And um, when I was like in my like like a tween and like 9, 10, like around those ages, I mostly listened to what was on the radio and like pop music and and artists like Taylor Swift and One Direction and stuff like that. And when One Direction was became a band and became famous, obviously, like most other people around my age, I was really into One Direction, and like they were my favorite band at one point. And before One Direction was my favorite band at that point, um, Big Time Rush was my favorite band. And they were actually my first concert. And yeah, I was just like really into like pop music at that point and didn't want to listen to the music that my parents wanted me to listen to, I guess. And I went through this phase when I was listening to um, like pop music that that phase was I thought it was cool to be a hater on the Beatles, and I really hated the Beatles, and I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I thought it was cool to be a hater on the Beatles. And after that, or during that phase, there in 2014 there was a documentary or something about the Beatles and it being 50 years since the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. And like, because I was bored and like had nothing else to do, and so I watched that documentary or whatever it was about the Beatles, and that got me out of thinking it was cool to hate the Beatles. And I was really into the Beatles then, and like I still really am. And not long after that, in like this summer between like 7th and 8th grade, I fell down the hole of listening to Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and My Chemical Romance and like that kind of music. And I was really into Black Veil Brides. And another band that I was really into and have been really into my whole life was Green Day. And my parents went and saw Green Day in concert, and they asked me if I wanted to go when I was like 6 or 7. And I said no because I was scared of concerts. And I missed out on Green Day and seeing them in concert. And Green Day could have been my first concert, but they weren't. And I was like really into Black Veil Brides and Green Day and like that kind of music. And um, I pretty much like stuck with that kind of music. And like I never really like considered myself like an emo, but like I listened to that kind of music, and like I dressed in all black and stuff, but like I didn't wear the dark makeup because like I don't really like wearing makeup, and I wasn't allowed to dye my hair black or anything. So it was whatever. I just stuck to wearing all black and band t-shirts and listening to the pop punk and emo and like that kind of music. And then Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie came out. It's about Queen, and my parents and I went and saw it um, at the beginning of 2019, and I got really into Queen, and I still really am like into Queen. And because of like getting into Queen, I fell down the hole of listening to the music that my parents listened to and made me listen to as like a very young child. And I fell down the hole of listening to Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and all of those other classic rock bands. And that is kind of where my music taste is right now. And I am really into classic rock. And looking back on like my life and like when I went through certain phases of listening to music, I through all of these phases, I realized how like gatekeepy I was with like certain artists, and how like I only really listened to like one type of music during like certain parts of my life, and I refused to listen to anything else. And I forgot to say this: when I first moved to where I live now, I was really into country music, but that only lasted like a year or so. And um, when looking back on like how like gatekeeper I was and only listening to like one genre of music at a time for like a few years or whatever, I've come to the conclusion that you should just like what kind of music you like and like not care what other people think. Like even though like right now I'm really into like classic rock and that kind of music, I've also decided that like there are some good pop music and some good pop artists out there, and that I shouldn't care if people are going to judge me for going from Led Zeppelin to Harry Styles to Queen to whatever else in like the span of like 3 songs, and that I should like what I like and not be ashamed that my music taste right now is all over the place, and that I like a little bit of everything, and that it's okay to be into more than one genre and have a playlist or like a music taste or whatever. That's all over the place because music is subjective, and you should just like what you like without having any shame and without um having fear that people are gonna judge you, because that's not like a good way to live. That and you should just like be yourself and enjoy the type of music that you want to, because life is short and you shouldn't hide that you like certain music artists. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and hearing me ramble about my music evolution over the years. If you did like this video, and comment down below any musical artists that you are currently into. All of my social media accounts and other YouTube channels will be in the description down below. I will post videos on Tuesday or whenever I feel like uploading a video. And if you want to subscribe and be a part of my little musical corner of the internet, please subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye.